Hey guys, Shamshir here again, but you call me Chip, and I am back with another video, and this is the moment I've been waiting for since she was added to the game. Marisa finally has Shamshir. Now, before we look at it, I just want to quickly talk about the other refines that came with this update, because this is a refine review. But obviously the main point is Marisa. So I'm just going to quickly go over the new stuff before anything, and here we go. Well, I'm not going to present them all. I do not have them all, so I'm just going to rattle off the refines that we have that we know. So first off, we have Male Morgan, whose refine is really good. So this refine was also very long overdue. So I'm very happy for Male Morgan fans because this refine is really nice. At the very start of the turn, enemies within 4 spaces get a debuff to attack speed and res, while Morgan gets a buff. And similar to the Pledgeon weapons that we got recently, Male Morgan's refine capitalizes off of that and gives an extra bonus to the penalty that is inflicted on enemies. So it makes him quite a viable tank as well as a good damage output unit. So Male Morgan fans, I am very happy for you. Next we have Berserker mods that can be on Valentine's Hector or base Hector if you refine base R mods. It kept its Wrath effect, so that's normal, that's pretty good for Berserker mods. The special refine, however, was added to similar to how Halloween Grima's weapon works. When a special procs, she would heal 30% of her HP, her max HP. That is also the case for our Berserker mods. It kind of counteracts how the Wrath effect works in the base form of its of the weapon. Healing past Wrath can mean that you don't get the extra damage output, but it's ultimately the main point of a tank unit is to survive and do good damage in the process. So if you have Special Fighter, the 1-turn special cooldown already at base means immediately retaliating with something like Bonfire or any other 3-turn cooldown special. Or if you have a 4-turn cooldown special and you stay within Wrath range, you can proc that special on your next initiation. Along with the fact that he gains attack and defense, or he inflicts attack and defense on foes that initiate on him, or if they have 100% HP at the start of combat. So that is pretty nice for what it is. For a unit that gets foddered off probably more than any other unit, he might be worth investing in at this point, if you haven't already invested in him at this point in time. Next, we will cover Quan. Quan's refine is pretty good. It keeps its base effect with gaining attack and defense against non-flyers, and with its special refine, he gains even more attack and defense if you have a sword, lance, axe, or just any cavalry ally on your team. That also probably means that if that ally would die or in any combat and Quan is left alone or without that specific ally, he does not get that buff anymore. Along with his self buff from having that ally, he buffs those allies, sword, lance, and axe allies, along with cavalry, giving them a plus 5 attack and defense. So he is a good support unit, as well as he gains quite the stats for himself as well. So also, we will probably get a refine for Earthly Gabolg for Altena at some point in the future, so he will probably have access to that as well. So look forward to it, Quan fans. I'm very happy that his weapon refine is still pretty good. All these weapon refines for this update were really nice. Now, we have Sumiya. Sumiya's weapon refine is really cool. It gains a Spectrum boost right off the bat, as long as the foe has above 75% HP, so that's really nice. And the weapon has built-in Wings of Mercy, which is great, with a much better threshold. If your ally is below 80% HP, below or equal to 80% HP, Sumiya can Wings of Mercy to them, and if she is near an ally in combat, she gains attack and speed +5 during combat. And now the craziest part of the weapon is she gains Kanto with her special refine. We already know about Kanto because of Regan in the game. However, Regan is a cavalry unit and Sumiya is a flyer. Cavalry having more movement naturally. Sumiya's weapon actually states that she can only move 2 spaces after Kanto. I don't know if that's static or if that's purely because that's just what a flyer's movement range is. But if she has a Rally from Annette's Crusher, a Dance from Legendary Azura, or even /Odd Tempest if you really invested into your Sumiya, I don't know if her Kanto actually is able to reach those 3 spaces. I do not have a Sumiya to test it. So if you do have Sumiya, a built one, or if you have Annette or Legendary Azura to test this, I would really love to know in the comments below if you have tested it yourself. So that is by itself an insane weapon. So that is great. Now, the main event. I've been sitting on the screen and you've been looking at 2 of them this whole time. Marisa and her Shamshir. Now, obviously, I have 2 +10 Marisa. I invested a lot into mine. So when it comes to Shamshir, right off the bat, if I had recorded this when I first saw it, I would have had kind of a lackluster reaction, because when I saw it immediately, I was like, oh, that's pretty decent. But after I looked at it more and thought about it, I could not be happier with what we have. First off, my immediate want, before I click on it, was that Shamshir at base would be a slaying Wodao. And it is. Kind of. The Wodao effect has been kind of debuffed in that we only gain +7 static damage rather than the normal +10. But I guess that does fit like kind of canon for the weapon itself, because in mainline Fire Emblem games, or at least in Sacred Stones, Shamshir's crit rate is 5% less than Wodao's. So that, I guess, is kind of a nod to that, with it being less damage output, less static damage output. But overall, I am still very happy with it. 7 is my lucky number, so I am completely okay with +7 damage. And the slaying effect, the slaying Wodao effect, me being right about that, it just made me so happy immediately to see that. Now, the special refine is absolutely crazy. I was not expecting anything like this. I was hoping for a spectrum boost, but attack and speed is great. Along with the pairing of Time's Pulse built into the weapon, meaning any 2-turn cooldown special becomes a 1-turn cooldown special, becomes charged with special refined Shamshir, and that is absolutely crazy. So the way I use Marisa in Ether Raids is enemy phase. I tend to enemy phase everything with Pledge Blade, and with the breath effect from Pledge Blade, as long as Marisa has a buff, she would always retaliate with Noontime. However, that required her to have a buff. And in some cases, even with Marisa's very high HP stat, she could get panicked from the Panic Manner. So in a lot of times, I might mess up and she dies because of my own miscalculation. But in this sense, she does not even need the buff. She can use it very well, but she doesn't require it. All she needs is to either initiate or to be within 2 spaces of an ally. So if she has Lancina support, she can run Soul, and in enemy phase, she immediately retaliates with Soul, healing a little bit more, as well as with the static +7 damage from Shamshir. It is just a phenomenal weapon for Fine. Another thing that I was thinking about when looking at Shamshir is the possibility of having Gale Force instead. I didn't mean to do that, I meant to change skills. Um, is having Gale Force instead. Now, weirdly enough, obviously, it's a Wodao weapon, so you won't get the +7 static damage that comes with having a Wodao weapon. But being also with the slaying effect, along with Time's Pulse, she gets an immediate 3-turn cooldown Gale Force, which means if she had Time's Pulse in the C slot as well, it would be a 2-turn cooldown Gale Force. Having the Flashing Blade Seal or Flashing Blade 4 A slot, or like attack speed solo A slot and Flashing Blade Seal, whatever, she can immediately hit very, very hard if she initiates because of the attack and speed +5, and immediately get Gale Force, and she can either get out of combat or continue her combat. And if she does get out of threat range, the very next turn she can just do the exact same thing again. So I am extremely, extremely happy with how Shamshir was added to this game. It keeps Marisa like fairly modest with the fact that it's not hyper overpowered, but it also makes her very, very, very good. Her survivability would be up, as well as her damage output. Her HP does go down ever so slightly, which means stuff like Panic or something like Sudden Panic or Panic Floor or something like that is kind of debuffed in that sense, but because her weapon actually does not go based off of her HP, that's not the worst thing. A lot of speculation is that people were thinking it could be Panic, and if the enemy had a penalty, or this one instance I saw, is if it was a Sudden Panic weapon where the enemy having a penalty, she would get a Spectrum boost. And I think that would have been fine, that would have been nice, but Time's Pulse is by far, like, way better than I could have even imagined. And I'm so, so happy with how Shamshir was added to the game. Now, obviously, I have 2 +10 Marisa. If you do like Marisa, I do highly recommend investing in her, because this weapon is absolutely crazy. Time's Pulse, you can build her very, very player phase with Swift Sparrow 3 or Attack Speed Solo 4 or something like that. You could have a what's it called? You could have Special Spiral in the B slot, and then have 4-turn cooldown specials, be 3-turn cooldown specials, and then immediately with what's it called? Special Spiral, gain a lot of stuff off of that. And there's so many combinations of things we can do. So I'm just extremely, extremely happy with how this played out. And I really want to know y'all's opinions in the comments below. Are you happy with your weapon refines? If you like Marisa specifically, I would hope that you would subscribe. I do Marisa solos as well as Setsuna solos, and clear legendary and mythic abyssal maps with units voiced by Connor Kelly, Emblem, and stuff like that. So if you are happy for the refines from this update, as well as happy from anything else from this update, leave in the comments below what you think. And as you can see from my visited ally, as well as the banner that was revived today, let's do a free summon. Hopefully there's a blue. If not, then I'll go green, I guess. There is, in fact, 1 blue, so let's free summon this blue. As well as I have 20 orbs, so let's throw it at the Regal Rabbits banner. This is a Marisa video. That's a 3-star. This is a Marisa video, so why not do what I can, and maybe, just maybe, we get that final Marisa merge. We are at 3%, so let's go. 2 blues, let's go. That's a 3-star. Come on, Shamshir luck. You gotta bring this home. Oh, well, Big Daddy Doosel decided to show up. That is great. My Doosel is minus defense, so that's either a merge or amazing fodder. Um, let's go again real quick. 3, perfect. Okay, I was hoping there wasn't 4 because I didn't have enough for 4. That was unexpected. So this is already like a great, an even better video, with the fact that Marisa got an amazing weapon refine. The Sacred Stone's big boss dad over here, Doosel, showing up to congratulate her. There's so much about what happened with this update that is so great. Double Ileana. um, so let me know what y'all think in the comments and stuff like that. Are you happy? Would you have wanted more? Anything like that? No, Marissa, but that's okay. We still have 11 days. And we got Doosel. So this was definitely not a waste of a summon session. Along with this video, I am absolutely ecstatic and so happy with how this weapon was added to the game, how well represented Marisa is. Um, so um, that's going to be it for this video. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. I do, like I said, Marisa content as well as reviews like this, covering the banners as well as Fate channels whenever they happen. Fire Emblem Heroes all over the place here. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you'll share with me your thoughts. And I will see y'all in the next video. But until then, goodbye.